I got some major market updates for you guys today. So, we are seeing the S&P 500 taking a dive over 4% down. However, Bitcoin is still holding. This is significant because usually the S&P 500 has high correlation with Bitcoin, and when it goes down, it usually drags Bitcoin down with it. But right now we are seeing Bitcoin holding strong at about 82, 83,000. That was the important level that I'm looking at for several key reasons. One of which, including that we are actually still holding a higher low since a breakdown of a bear flag last week that we have been talking about. Very significant because if we hold this higher low, then the next logical move is a higher high. My opinion only, not financial advice, but that is the next logical move, right? So we are currently still holding at that 82, 83,000. As you guys can see, it's very subtle low right here, right? This was the breakdown from last week. We broke down to about 81,000, but the daily candle closed at about 82,000 ish. The next low since that rebound has been 82.5. We are currently, we have the bears have actually tried to push this price action down for the past 2 days, and it has been unsuccessful. And we're actually diverging from the S&P 500 market. Okay, so I mentioned some key indicators to be paying attention to, including the weekly time frame on the S&P 500. Of course, if the S&P 500 looks great, chances are Bitcoin is going to be looking great as well. But right now, what we're seeing is a divergence between the price action of Bitcoin and the S&P 500. Okay, very significant. So this doesn't happen commonly, and when it does, I could expect some pretty good moves out of Bitcoin and of course crypto, right? Because the rest of the crypto world is in correlation with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the driver of the crypto world. Okay, so that's basically what I'm seeing. However, on the S&P 500 here, it's that bullish divergence on the weekly time frame completely invalidated here. Okay, that usually gives a bounce. However, not this time. Okay, nothing in the market is 100%. I only speak in terms of probabilities. What's likely to happen, what's less likely to happen. However, in this case, what was less likely to happen for the S&P 500 happened. Okay, so very important to be paying attention to this as well. Maybe the correlation is going to be coming back later into the future, but that is basically what I'm seeing. Daily time frame for S&P 500. It could probably still end up with a higher or equal low on the RSI here. That's also important to be paying attention to because that could still usually mean a bounce could be coming up on the daily time frame. Now let's come back to the Bitcoin chart here. Okay, very important that we hold this higher low. Okay, so if we hold this higher low, then the next thing I expect to see that's more likely to happen is a higher high, right? Um, However, if this low breaks, okay, if this low breaks and the Bitcoin price action chart gets dragged down by the S&P 500, in the future, right now it's still holding. If it gets dragged down, then the next level down, I still have to consider the downside, which is still going to be the 76,000 level, which is where the weekly 50 SMA is at. 77,000 level, okay? So that's the downside. The upside is going to be a retest of the weekly 21 SMA, which is currently at about 94,000, right? So it hasn't retested that level yet since it actually has broken down from it for the past couple of weeks. Very important to be paying attention to these levels. It's going to be serving as resistance and supports. Now, that's basically what I'm looking at. Even zooming into the 12-hour chart here, we are still holding that higher low. I mentioned that in my past couple of videos. If you guys haven't seen it, make sure to like and subscribe. I bring you guys my daily updates on what I think of the markets because I follow the markets whenever I have time. This is basically my fun, really. Until this bull market is over, I'm still here. Okay, been here since last year. Okay, that was when I expected the bull market to basically continue. However, it did not. Right. I'm sure a lot of the other YouTubers also expected the bull market to continue from last year, just straight away. But we're still here, right? But I've been trading this market for over 5 years. Okay, so I'm gonna be giving you guys my daily thoughts. Make sure to like, subscribe. Not financial advice, of course. Not a financial advisor. Just my speculations and opinions. See you guys tomorrow.